Zach.
What is going on today, guys? So today we're gonna be doing a little bit of a fun project on the Foxbody. So I've been working on this a little bit off camera. We put an amp in because we needed to amplify all the door speakers, just because it's a convertible, and to be honest, it gets real loud when you're driving down the road, especially with that new exhaust I put in. So what we're gonna do today is we're actually gonna make a rear seat delete. So instead of where the bench is right there, and there's like a weird like upright that goes right there on the convertibles, we're actually gonna use good old MDF, as well as I've got some material from Joann's here that originally was for that car, but then I've got actually a rear seat delete already ready to go for that car that I found off of Facebook. So what we're going to do, it's pretty straightforward to make a rear seat delete, at least in my opinion. I was looking through a couple of the different options of what we were going to need to do. It looks like for the most part what people are doing is people are basically just letting it sit on the base right there and then bolting it right up at the top upright, and that's pretty much all that they're doing. There is, if you could see right there as well as right there, there is a couple of lower spots that if we needed to somehow create a strap, we can, but I don't know, I'm not really 100% married to that idea. So here's what I went ahead and grabbed to make this all work. I went ahead, if I can get this open, I grabbed from the local store, I grabbed some metal straps on here if we need to preform some things, as well as some just basic 90-degree bends, some self-tappers just to make all this go smoothly, and then I actually ordered, this is like a sound dampening material, so I'll probably put this on the back of this board. What I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to do or not as of yet, just because that amp sticks out just ever so much from being flush. I don't know if I want to cut this out or if I want to just leave it completely sealed in. I might leave it sealed in because then it isolates all the noise in the trunk, but we're probably also going to apply all this material to the trunk itself. So what I'm going to do, I already started to take some preliminary measurements. So hold on one second. I already started to take some preliminary measurements of what we're going to need to do. Looks like the base needs to be about 8 inches tall and it needs to be about 38 inches wide. My cut already has one that's about 37 inches wide for the base, so I'll probably use that, but then I'm going to grab some cardboard just like this, and I'm going to cut out that little hump so that we have a good measurement that we can make it all work on, and then we're going to go from there. So I'm going to get started and get set up, and let's see how she turns out.
Till I get up, time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go.
Okay, so now that we've got the this defined, I've went ahead and measured this again. So I've got, I think it's about 48, maybe 49 inches wide MDF, which is what we're going to use right here. So this should be about 49 inches wide, give or take. So what I'm going to do is I've already measured across, and this is going to be a little difficult with one hand, so I apologize. But if I measure across right here to here, we have, give or take, 49, maybe 50 inches. So with that being said, I'm going to mark a common point right there around the 25 on that piece, so I can transfer my cut onto that intermediate piece that's going to be laying on the floor. So I'm going to do that right now. Okay, so now that I have this marked at 25 inches, what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure across here, just like that. Like I said, 49. Okay, then we're going to just simply bring this up on here, and you know what, since I measured it, it's closer to 50, we're going to mark this at 49 and a half, or I'm sorry, 24 and a half inches, because we'll just split that difference on there. So the direct center should be right here, and it's okay to cover this because we're going to be wrapping all this in carpet anyways. So now what I'll do is I'll just simply match up this right here, and probably going to go, right there. You can see the mark. And I need to come down a little bit with it. There we go. But since we're just going to match it up right there, and then we'll go ahead and cut this out either with a miter saw or a regular saw, and then we'll go ahead and do a test fit. Well, there she is. That's going to be the base right there. We intentionally cut it a little bit big so that there's no issues with fitment. So now I'm going to need to start working on the top plate that's going to go over top of that. But as you can see actually right there in the middle is pretty much exactly where it needed to be. I ended up trimming down my piece about 1 inch on each side just to give it the adjustability that I wanted. But I'm very happy with how this is looking as of right now. So I'm going to work on the top plate, and then after everything's said and done, then we'll go and wrap it all up with the carpet. Okay, so we went ahead and we're probably going to use this piece. So this one's 19.5 by, I want to say it was like 36 inches, but pretty decent. So that's going to pretty much go directly on there. I shouldn't run into any issues in debating just bolting it directly up to the top part, but I think I want to wrap it first. But then we can work on the final piece, which is the top part. Well, we just got done cutting the last piece. So the last piece I ended up going with the same base, which was 36 inches, and then we went 21 inches. So again, across the bottom, and again, the bottom's going to be a little bit weird, but I mean, I could trim it if I wanted to. I don't really care. It's not a big deal to me, and I'm going to edge this one over to begin with. But about 46 inches by 8 inches tall. We had to custom cut the center piece right there. This section right here is 19.5 by 36 inches across, at least on the earlier convertible, so this would be 83 to 86. The panels do go from like 38 inches across to 37, so if you're going to do a square cut like this, you're going to have to go about 36. And then the top, again, we went 36 by 21. So it all looks pretty good in my opinion. So I'm going to wrap this with some carpet, and then we'll wrap back up and take a look and see how she looks. Okay, so for wrapping, we're going to use this. It's like a trunk carpet like material. I've had it. I got it at Joann Fabrics. So this is the upper piece. We're also going to use some padding right here. So what I'm going to do, I think this is 1 inch stuff, is basically I'm just going to lay it over the top of it, and then I'm going to trim it out with just some trimming shears right like that. Try to make sure you guys can see everything. There we go. Ugh. So we're gonna get a little bit away from the edge, and then what we're gonna use is this JT21 stapler to go ahead and just staple it down. So actually, I'll probably just throw a couple of them in here to get it nice and taut.
Through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go. Through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
There we go. Move this out of the way for now. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and flip this over. So since this is the top, I do believe this is the back on there. I'm just going to flip it over just like this right here. And I have plenty of material, so it's just kind of up to you of how much you want to use. But I think I bought 3 yards of it because I wasn't sure how much I was going to need, and it was cheap, so I said, oh well. And you definitely do not need 3 yards. This is absolutely overkill. But what we're going to do is just like that. You just lay it over, and then we're going to go just like this, nice and taut. There we go. We'll probably fold it, but now I just need to come across and cut. And actually, we've got a ton of extra. Probably went on an angle there, not a big deal. Okay, and then we're going to make sure that that's nice and tight. We already had a staple? No. just like that. That's what it's looking like. This wrinkle will come out. I'm not too worried about that. We're gonna staple the excess. And then probably just gonna layer it over. There's a lot of excess over here. Probably don't need that much, but to be honest, it'll just act as sound dampening material, so I'm okay with that. Come on. Then we're just gonna finish the edge to make sure everything stays where it should be. Maybe rotate this back a little bit. Okay. Let's rotate around and do the other side. The other side I cut a little bit more off, which is why it's a little bit uneven, not a big deal. Jeez. Okay, and that is our upper piece. It has some foam backing in there. It should stay nice and plush, but now I'm gonna go ahead and, oh, sorry, you guys can't really see it, but right there, I'm gonna brighten that up a little bit. There you guys go. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the other pieces done, and then we'll show you how to get everything all mounted up. So, all right, I'll be back. Hey guys, I just want to give a quick update. I did cut this piece down to 36 inches total, just to make it easier for everything to line up. So I would, it's probably going to look a little bit better that way too. Okay, well, there it is all wrapped. I've got the top piece right there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use simple L brackets on the bottom right there to secure those two. And then we're going to figure out the top. Probably the same L brackets, but a little bit bent. So let's take a look. Okay, so I have 1 1/4 inch self-tappers here. If I were to go and buy them again, now that I've got all the material together, I'd probably go 1 inch. These are going to stick through just a bit. Now, it's still not going to make a difference, but it's something that if you guys are doing it for the first time, that's what I would do if I were in your position. So this one's going to be kind of difficult. If you have a pair of helping hands, probably a little bit easier to get done, but pretty much I'm just going to use just these L brackets as they are. Yep, and I could feel it come through just a bit on the other side. Again, it's not perforating the carpet, so I'm not super concerned, but like I said, I would go a little bit shorter if I were to do it again. Perfect. And then if you want to reinforce this, you can get more. I only bought 4 brackets because I mean this is not going anywhere. So now I'm going to test fit, and then we're going to come back, and I'm probably just going to end up putting the L brackets on right over here, but I just want to double check and make sure everything's good. Well, here are the brackets, just so you can see. We kind of go for a little bit more of an aggressive angle, like right here. So if you take a look, we want it to be more aggressive. but then we want it to be more lenient because the top is going to sit back, and then we just need to figure out where we're going to bolt the top piece. I also threw some, just because I had it, some more sound deadening material right in the middle of the back, just to help out. So, all right, let's get this in the car. Well, here she is. So I did just go into the crossbar. You'd want like ideally either 3 or 4 inch bolts for that. I only had 2.5, which is why it kind of turned out bad. So here's the difference too. You're gonna want to like cut like an X in here because my drill got all gnarled up right there and kind of ruined the finish a little bit. But overall, I think it still looks decent. I did a little bit better job on that side, as you can tell. But there you go. So it does stick out a little bit more than I was expecting it to. So this is 19.5 inches. So realistically, could go a little bit shallower with that. I don't really care. I mean, it's not really gonna make a difference at all to me. I mean, that's already pretty much all the way back. So yeah, overall pretty straightforward and simple. Probably about $100 give or take in materials. I had all this stuff laying around from other projects that I was already working on, so it kind of made it a little bit easier for me. But tell me what you guys think. Obviously, this is just kind of a template. You guys can do whatever you would like to do. I kind of just haphazardly drilled in that crossbar just because my convertible's kind of beat up, if I'm being honest with you, and it's not really a big deal to me. So this accomplishes a huge goal for me, which is to get that sealed back off and a little bit nicer. And overall, it's still gonna have storage. I can put stuff on there. It's not gonna be rattling around, and should be pretty good. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys don't think I'm a hack, or maybe you do think I'm a hack. Let me know in the comments below. But until then, I'll see you guys next time.